Welcome into the Stack Shack Sports Show. We're back talking Valorant again. If you're a football fan, you like the football content, I promise I got some of that coming for you. But VCT Americas playoffs has kicked off, so for the next couple of days, we're going to be reviewing each day as the matches happen, everything that happens in VCT Americas. Today was really, in my opinion, almost a bigger day than tomorrow is going to be. Tomorrow, obviously, is going to be the next round of Crew and Leviatan getting those buys here. But today was important because it was win or go home for all four of these teams. Cloud9, G2, 100 Thieves, and Loud. They did not get the benefit of a buy to move on and face Crew and Leviatan. They did not get the benefit of a buy like Crew and Leviatan did, because those were the top two seeds out of each group after we saw the regular season, right? Crew, Leviatan, they get their buys. So these four teams, they don't get the benefit of double elimination, which the rest of this tournament will be. They're straight into the knockout round. It's win or go home. We kicked it off with G2 and Cloud9. Now, if you remember from yesterday's video, I had Cloud9 winning this one. I thought Oxy was good enough. I thought Cloud9 was good enough to overcome a G2 team that had been a bit inconsistent. Both of these teams, realistically, I would say have been a bit inconsistent. But what happened to Cloud9? Well, what I always say happens to Cloud9, and what I've been saying for months now worries me. I know they had a 5-1 record coming into playoffs. Their only loss being to 100 Thieves. But 100 Thieves demonstrated something. Cloud9 does not play great fundamentals. They really rely on Oxy to pop off, and they don't really use utility as well as they probably should. What did 100 Thieves do? They said, ha, Cryo, sit here with an op and shoot Oxy every time he runs in. That's what they're going to try and do. And G2 picked up on that. And other teams, I think, are going to pick up on that. If Cloud9 is your opponent, they don't play great fundamentals. Their util usage is not awesome. They kind of just run it down. And G2, I've been critical of the Icy pickup, of the Leaf swap, of kind of messing with what was the guard core team that we all were like, wow, they're going to have an advantage because they've been together. I don't like the in-season move, but it's been a few weeks now, and the team is starting to gel. They're looking a bit dangerous. On Lotus, 13-6, Cloud9 jumped out to a 4-0 lead. But then they just got demolished, right? And it's unfortunate that Cloud9, who I think has some great players on it, they just don't seem to play the good fundamentals that they need. And G2 was able to exploit that. Now, Ascent went to overtime, so much closer. But, again, you shut down Oxy. You had him -7 on Ascent. On Lotus, he was just even. If you go back and look at Cloud9 wins, Oxy is typically a lot better than 16-16. I mean, you even just go back a week. Icebox, what is Oxy? 32-16. 24-17. Right? If Oxy is having those kinds of games, Cloud9 is going to win. If he's having the games like he did against 100 Thieves, where he's even 18-18, 17-19. Now, the rest of the team was even worse against 100 Thieves. I mean, let's be real here. There was a world where this was almost a 13-0, kind of situation. They were on 13-0 alert at 10-0. But it's a similar story this week in the knockout rounds against G2. What is Oxy? Even. Oxy. Negative. It's pretty easy. Oxy's their best player. If he's popping off, they're in good shape. Otherwise, they're going to get smoked. And they got smoked. 2-0. Now, again, a good performance. They got it into overtime on map 2. But map 1 wasn't particularly close. And this is what I've been saying for months. I don't trust Cloud9. I can't trust them. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Cloud9 fans. I cannot trust your team. Give a lot of credit, though, to G2, right? They learned. They watched tape. They reviewed the film. They looked at the strategies and went, there's a way to beat Cloud9. And they executed a good plan to beat Cloud9. Even though I would say Cloud9 looks to be more talented on paper. But Leaf is starting to settle in. Icy is starting to settle in. Watch out for G2. I think I was impressed. I think it was a good win for them. Then we had 100 Thieves Loud. Now this one I got right. I said 100 Thieves is going to beat Loud. I know the streak. Loud has never missed an international event. They've never missed qualifying for one of the global events. They've had some unfortunate early exits from some recent global events, but they've always made it. And I said, how could you ever vote Loud? How could you ever pick Loud when they had a losing record in the regular season? They had a losing record. They had a negative map differential. I don't know why. This was an easy bet. I bet it. Almost doubled my money. I can't believe Loud was the favorite. I mean, VLR, I don't know, Thunder Pick, that's not who I use, but they had them at a 1.92 pre-match odds? Are you kidding me? That's almost 2-1 money. Good win here for 100 Thieves. Started off with Bind. Was a little worrisome. Down 3-0. Loud gets the bonus. Bounce back. Look at the stat lines from Cryo. Also look at Asuna. Boostio continues to struggle a bit, but he had some incredible calls. I mean, the play where they just said Asuna run in on site alone, make a bunch of noise and commotion, hold the attention of the entire Loud squad while we sneak over to the other one. Beautiful calling. So, gotta give Boostio credit for that. Would I like to see him above a -10? Yeah. But you know what? When Cryo's going 25-8 and Asuna's going 23-16, I think you can live with it, right? There's only so many kills to go around, right? So, this was a dominant performance. I mean, to rattle off this stretch there in the first half to end with a 8-4 half. I mean, 8 straight. Just rattled them off. Beautiful. Lost the pistol, lost the bonus, and then locked it in. It was impressive. Loud is good. There's a reason they've made every global event. Sadak, I think he's one of the best IGLs probably in the world, definitely in Americas. But Boostio is showing that he can call with the best of them. Notice the difference here. Quick, Asuna. -7, +7. I think if you're Loud, man, are you missing Ospas. My goodness. Are you missing that ace duelist? Gonna have to take a look in the offseason. Maybe you try and make an in-season move, but I really think it's probably going to be something they're going to have to fix later. Or find a way to get Quick playing at a higher level. Then we move to Icebox. This is a 13-4. These matches are not close. I predicted they wouldn't be close. They weren't. 13-6, 13-4. Once again, Cryo 22-7. Asuna 13-8. Bang 16-8. But again, let's look at the duelists. Cryo on Jet 22-7. Quick on Jet 5-16. Again, this match isn't close, so everybody on 100 Thieves looks better than everybody on Loud. But Jet diff, anybody? Not surprising that 100 Thieves wins this. Again, rattle off the first 6. 100 Thieves looks good. I said it coming in. They were one of the top 3 teams in Americas. I really do still believe that. I think they proved that. I felt like we've seen 100 Thieves play G2. We hadn't seen them play Loud. Loud's coming on a bit of a win streak here. Beaten Sentinels, beaten G2. 2 straight 2-0s. So people are like, ooh, Loud's back. They never miss a global event. Watch out, 100 Thieves. How could you bet against Loud? How could you bet against Sadak? 100 Thieves wins 2-0. If we look back at the bracket, we now have the upper semifinals are tomorrow. Now, you may look at these matchups and go, oh, well, it's double elimination. Does this match even matter all that much, right? If you lose this, you're in the loser's bracket. Well, it does. Because if you win this match, you've qualified for Shanghai. Right? You've qualified for Shanghai. We go to the pick'em here. Take a look at my predictions. Obviously, missed that one. Cloud9. But what can happen here is if things go the way I've got them predicted and Crew drops down here, it doesn't matter. This matchup is just to get into the grand final. It's for more championship points. Absolutely worth it. But if you make it to the upper finals, you're going to Masters Shanghai. And that's the important thing. That's what everybody's trying to qualify for. The next big global event. Right? And really the last one before the World Championships at the end of the year. So, big matchups, because if you win, you're in, basically. Now, if you lose, you're going to have to play this lower round 1. Again, I had it predicted that G2 and 100 Thieves, well, really, I had it predicted that Cloud9 and 100 Thieves, but that Crew and Leviatan, I'm picking favorites here in the upper semis on my pick'em. I don't know. Can 100 Thieves beat Leviatan? I'm not sure. I think they have a shot at it. But I do think, let's say 100 Thieves and G2, we'll go with the favorites here. 100 Thieves and G2 meet in the lower round. I think that's a win for 100 Thieves. I mean, just last week, Loud 2-0'd G2. And a few weeks before that, 100 Thieves 2-0'd G2. So 100 Thieves definitely looks like the 3rd best team in Americas right now. So again, my prediction that Crew, Leviatan, and 100 Thieves are going to be the qualifiers for Masters Shanghai still stands. I stand by that prediction, and it's still holding up. I thought Cloud9 would be able to play at a high enough level, but, you know, give credit to G2. They locked it down. They learned from the 100 Thieves playbook, the only team to have beaten Cloud9 so far this season, and said, there's a way to beat Cloud9. Similar situation, I think, Sentinels sitting on the bench, obviously not into playoffs after winning the first global event. I think they're struggling with a little bit of teams have kind of figured out a way to beat them, right? Loud 2-0'd them. And so a few teams out there that are starting to get known, maybe not peaking quite at the right time, that have some talent, but in the end, there's a way to beat them. There's a formula that they have to stick to win. and other teams are starting to exploit it. Gonna be some fun matches tomorrow. I gotta complain, though, real quick at the end of today's episode. This time changed, right? Changed to 4:25 instead of 5 p.m. Because all of them were 2 and 5 o'clock. VCT Americas. And maybe somebody can help me out in the comments, because maybe I'm just dumb and I'm not understanding this. But you cannot start a match 35 minutes early. Are you kidding me? Over a half hour early, they start the match. Could you imagine any other sport doing this for their playoffs? Could you imagine? NFL playoffs, divisional round. And all of a sudden, the Sunday night football game that was supposed to be at 5:30 starts at 5. Or the 12:30 afternoon game. All of a sudden, it's just going to start at noon. We're just going to switch it up and start it early. No other sport would you ever consider this. Why does it consistently happen still in VCT Americas? I don't get it. It's a Wednesday. If anything, you'd want to start later. Make sure everybody gets off work, right? That's why Monday Night Football starts after 5 o'clock on the East Coast, or on the West Coast. Right? It starts 5:30 West Coast time. Because most people, if you work the traditional, again, you're not going to fit everybody's schedule, but in general, 9 to 5 is kind of the standard work day. So you get off at 5, you're giving them 30 minutes to get home. If they got a longer commute, whatever. But you're giving the most people the opportunity to watch your match. This is playoffs. There's no reason to be starting a match early. I know G2 2-0'd Cloud9, and there was like an extra half hour to kill because it didn't go beyond. Again, if that goes 3 maps, this match might start a little after 5. You know what? That's okay. I still think the matches should start on time, but I understand you're in the same arena. This happens in March Madness, where they've got games back-to-back in the same arena. If one game goes into overtime or lasts too long, the other team has to wait and they start a few minutes late. It is okay. It's acceptable. You'll see this happen. In fact, I've even seen the NFL get a little squishy with it, right? They say, oh, it's 5:30, but that's when the broadcast starts, and it's like 5:36 kickoff time. Or, in the playoffs, I've even seen them maybe slow down the match and don't start the game. Because you want people to be able to watch all of G2 and Cloud9, and then watch 100 Thieves in Loud. But you do not start 100 Thieves Loud 35 minutes early. It is a disaster, and it must be fixed if you want to be taken seriously. Thankfully, there's websites like VLR out there that I can go to and show these brackets and have the broadcast times. Go try and figure out other esports. They're pretty tough. ALGS, I don't even know what's going on. I've tried to get into Apex competitive. Never been able to because I can't figure out when the matches start or how you qualify or what's going on, right? But for a franchised league, which VCT Americas is, all of VCT, All of Valorant at Tier 1 esports, it's all franchises. You gotta start at the time you say you're gonna start. People are planning their days around this. Hopefully. Like, that's what you want. If you are Riot and you are running this Valorant esports league, you want people going, oh, my favorite team, Leviatan, is playing at 5 p.m. Pacific. I gotta make sure I'm home and ready to watch at that time. Whatever that looks like. Maybe it's, hey, I gotta go make sure I get dinner ready. Maybe it's I go in a little early to work so I can get off a little earlier. I want to invite some friends over, right? Imagine if you were inviting people over for a Super Bowl party and all of a sudden the game started 30 minutes early. People aren't even over there. They're on their way. They're driving in to do a little watch party. Valorant, even Riot even requires organizations to do watch parties. How is 100 Thieves or Loud supposed to plan a watch party and then all of a sudden their match starts 30 minutes early? What if they booked the venue at 4:45? Everybody's just got to sit out there for 20 minutes while the match is going on their phones before they can get in. Now, the same can be said for starting super late, right? You don't want to start too late. And I can speak from experience. Last World Championships, I went to watch party. And the match started so late because they had so many other things going on that the 100 Thieves organization who was running the watch party had closed down the venue for the private event. The venue's sitting there going, your time was up. Like, we gotta go home. You said you booked it from here to here, and I had to go back to the hotel and watch the last couple rounds of EG winning the World Championships on my phone. That's just a terrible experience for a fan. And if you want to build fan bases, you want to get people excited about Valorant esports, you gotta at least start on time. It's absolutely ridiculous. That's my thoughts. That's my reviews of both games. That's my thoughts on Valorant as a whole. I'm going to keep harping on this until they fix it. Let me know in the comments down below what you think. Is there something I'm missing? Am I just dumb and there's a good reason why they need to start early? I don't get it. Makes no sense to me. What if 100 Thieves is out of the venue? I mean, I'm sure they get there a couple hours early, like, obviously. But could you imagine? You're there, you're like, oh, my warm-up routine, 30 minutes before the match, I run through some aim labs. And then all of a sudden, you're about to start warming up, and they come in and they're like, hey, you're on right now. Ridiculous. Makes no sense. Let me know in the comments down below if I'm missing anything. What are your predictions for tomorrow's matchups? I cannot wait to watch them. I cannot wait to have a video out about them tomorrow. Be on the lookout for that, and we'll see you then.